Hello, everybody.
So you got
What?
the light shining off my hand.
Well, I can't do anything about that.
Okay, fine.
Shine like well, switch places with me then. If it's, see, does it look better if you're? Okay, there we are. Okay, there we are. Well, now it's shining on my head.
Well, okay, fine. Never mind.
Well,
Go ahead.
Which one is it? That one?
No.
Is it that one? That's a little better, but not much. Well, you're gonna have to put up with the shine.
Right, actually, it's a little better.
Put a little shine on your head. Okay, hello everybody. Angela's here, and Andy's here. Oh, and her sister Janine is listening. Home with me. Okay. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Catherine's here. Deb is here. Deb from the UK. Okay, great. So, people, you can see that today we are not in our usual spot. We're in my craft room. And those of you that watch my vlogs have seen my craft room many times before. So, we are trying something. You've asked for this many times, so we're giving it a try. We only have one camera, but it's the iPad, just the same as we always use. And are we in reverse?
Yeah, I think so.
No, we're not, because the computer's over there, right?
Yeah, but that's the way it always looks when we're looking at it.
But on here, it's not showing it in reverse either. See, look.
Can you read it?
Oh, wait, we're...
Oh,
No, you need something bigger from that. So, not that... Well, the computer should be over there, and its computer's over there. So, if for some reason it looks like we're not in reverse. No, yeah, we are in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. Andy says everything is backwards. You have to see lettering to see. Oh wait, you hold up a paint thing. I can't see.
Give it to me.
It takes a second just to hold it. Yeah, everything's in reverse. Okay. Thought for a minute there was almost that had been changed. Anyway, so everybody can see us okay then. Yes, we're still reversed. That's YouTube problem, not us. And can you hear us okay? Because I've got the microphone kind of off camera down here on the table. So let us know if you can see us and hear us. Hi, Mel. This is all for you, Mel. It is. You shamed me into this. Okay. Catherine says this looks good. This is exciting. Andy says you yes can see and hear. Okay, great. So, not sure how this is going to go today. This is a big experiment, but we do have our cocktails. I'm just having a little glass of wine.
I've got club soda
And beer.
and the reason for that is I was outside all afternoon in the hot garage trying to install a garage door opener, which I've partially got installed.
Yeah. And I finished the quilt top today for the bedroom quilt, and I'm going to talk about that and show it tomorrow on my vlog. I don't want to bring it in here today because we're going to be using paint, and I don't want to get paint on it. And the sucker is humongous. I have never made a quilt this big. It's a queen size, but there were some moments that were a little iffy. But yeah, Walter caught me
like
one of
this
those
morning.
moments.
I walked in the room and I walked really quickly back out.
Angela says she can't see us. Can't see you. Try refreshing your screen, Angela, because I guess everybody else can see us okay. So you sometimes have to refresh.
Oh yeah, there's
screen.
writing on here.
Yeah, this says Bland Designs.
Yeah, well, you could have figured that out if it was backwards there.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Well, it doesn't show up that well anyways. Yes, Andy, I will be showing the quilt top on the vlog tomorrow, and I'm also doing a special video in Idiot Quilter. I'm sort of recording the steps that I take in making this quilt. You won't see that come up on Idiot Quilter though for a few weeks yet, because now I have to put the backing on it, the batting on it, quilt it, And quilting it, I think, is going to be a bitch because I'm going to do sort of ruler foot quilting, or at least that's in my head. We'll see. But it's heavy, like right now.
And if it's not a bitch, who will be a bitch?
Yeah, right. Screw off. So anyways, let's just, before we get into the art today, art attack, as I call it, what's been happening? My mom got moved, not into a long-term nursing or a long-term care facility, a nursing home this week, but she got moved onto the long-term care floor of the hospital, which is basically where they put everybody that is waiting for nursing home placement or are people who are
that a nursing home can't take care of, that they need a lot more specialized care than the nursing homes can give. So they're really sick people. So
yeah. So anyway, she's in a room with only 2 other beds in it. Before she was in one that had 4, so that's a little better. They have activities and things because there was a schedule on the wall in her room for different things that they do. Now, of course, this being the long weekend here in Canada and probably across North America, I don't know where else in the world, it's Labor Day weekend, last long weekend of the summer, they won't be doing anything during the long weekend because they're usually have less staff on holiday kind of things. So come Tuesday, though, there should be some things that she'll be part of. Now, I've said to her, take advantage of this, Mom. It'll get you used to when you go into the nursing home because they have lots of things to do and you need to be out there and doing things. And one of the people in the room, I think, has got a tube down their throat or something because there's like gurgling every so often. My mother said, because she didn't realize it, I tried to say hello to them and they were just kind of rude. They didn't say anything back. And what's that gurgling sound? Mom, that person has a tube in them. That's draining them. Okay? Oh. So that's maybe...
Plus the lady kind of looked like she
was out of it.
Yeah, she was sort of drifting in and out of consciousness,
So maybe not the nicest environment, but I think it'll be a little quieter for her because she was complaining about the people who were coming and going on a regular basis, and there's less traffic, but it seems to be an area they've got it. It's like a nursing home,
it's
actually.
Built up like a nursing home inside.
Yeah.
They've got rooms that they can do stuff in and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Now Mel says, excuse me, this will be an interesting evening. First time ever we see Walter wearing apron. Nice to see what boys are creating. Kathy says, I seem to have a hard time finding you many times, but I'm here now. Okay, well, Kathy, first of all, if you set up your notifications, like click subscribe to my channel and click on the bell, and you got to watch what comes up when you click on the bell. It's sort of like a toggle switch. You click it once and it'll come up and say you'll get occasional notifications. You click it again, it'll say you'll get all notifications, and that's what you want. That seems to be what's working now for this kind of thing. My channel's not the only one affected by this. Everybody is, and every channel I watch, they keep reminding people about that problem with the notification. This is all in the infinite wisdom of YouTube. They keep changing things. So that way you'll get the notifications when we go live. You'll get notifications of anything else that I post as well. And usually on Sunday mornings, I'll put out a short little 30-second to 1-minute reminder that we're coming on later in the day. A little teaser kind of a thing too. But you'll also get that if you click the notification bell and you're subscribed to me. Okay. So what else here before we get into the art? What's coming up on my vlog? Well, lots of things this week. So I'll let you tune in and find out about that. Already talked about the bed quilt. We weren't happy with the colors at first, but
after, it's like mold. After a while, it grows on you.
Yeah, like real complimentary. Maybe I'll use that quilt to suffocate you in the night. That might be nice. No, but like I picked all the colors. It's blues and purples, but one of the blues turned out to be a little more tealish. It looked at first. It depends on the lighting.
Yeah,
it changes.
Like in the dark.
In the dark, you will go away. Well, it's a bed quilt. When are you going to see it? It'll be dark. No, whatever. But now that I've got the borders on it, it was fine. I ran into a little problem like what he was talking about this morning when he finally got out of bed. And when I say this morning, I mean this afternoon.
It was not.
Oh,
it was
pretty
morning
close.
still.
Oh, what? 10 to 12. Okay, 10
No, it
minutes.
was 10-ish.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, Chuck,
Of course,
hi,
I stayed
Chuck.
up till 3 o'clock, so.
Chuck says, art and alcohol, creatively full and forced playfully. Yeah, well, we'll see how that works out. What else? Well, the other things we'll talk about as we go on. So what do I have planned for us today? Walter has done this before.
Quite some time ago.
But a long time ago. He doesn't do it on a regular basis. And I'm all about jelly plates right now. These are jelly plates. If you don't know what a jelly plate is basically a polymer or silicone. I was told the other day it's not silicone, it's polymer. So I'm not sure. It's rubber. Rubbery plastic. Looks like jelly. That's why they call
It
it.
looks like Jell-O, only it's a lot.
Don't eat it.
Thicker.
It'll kill you. Or maybe have a little bite. So you basically put paint on it, and it's monoprinting. So what happens is, whatever you put on this and whatever you press into this, because it will hold an impression, it will print onto, cardstock, paper, envelopes, labels, whatever. And there's a lot of amazing things you can do with these, and they're addictive. I'm giving a class next Sunday. Oh, by the way, next Sunday, Stephen and Walter Live will be 1 hour later because I'm teaching my monthly art journal class next week. We're starting up after our little what's the word?
Hiatus?
That's the word I want. Hiatus over the summer. So we'll be an hour later. But in that class, I'm going to be doing some stuff with jelly plates. Now, not what I'm doing today. Next week I've done several times jelly plates with these people before. So I'm putting it up a few notches, actually. I hope it works. We're doing transfers from magazines onto it, which is really cool technique. I do have a video that I put up a week and a half ago about that method and the trials and tribulations of doing that method. So next week's class is kind of a workshop. It's experimental. Whatever happens, anything you ever make on jelly plates, always you get something interesting. It may not be exactly what you thought you were going to get, but it's interesting. So that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be tricky for me to look at the comments and do this at the same time, but I will try. And Deb says, you two are so funny, not having such good time at the minute, but you two are definitely cheering me up. Okay, sorry, Deb, that you're not having a good day, but okay, I hope we bring a little laughter into your life. With that, just forget about your worries and watch us do dumb things here. And Chuck says, watch your video on image transfer with jelly plates, well done, educational, etc. Thanks, Chuck. That was the whole point of it. Okay, so we have some basic equipment, but I'm not going to explain all the equipment. We have some sprayers here. That's for putting on paint. So the first thing we're going to do, the end goal of this is to take whatever we create on here and make some interesting abstract looking cards. Okay, so this will be somewhat instructional too for those of you who've never done jelly plate printing before. So we need to get some paint, and we're going to use acrylic paint, and I have a basket of acrylic paint behind us. So pick about 3 colors.
That one's kind of empty.
Well, you can use some of it, just squeeze it out.
Picking all the colors out.
What do you mean? My paint. I didn't pull all the paint up. I don't know if I want that color. Yellow.
You don't want yellow.
Oh, well, fine. Do I have a blue? Orange is good. Yeah, I don't know that. Okay, so to start with jelly plates, you squeeze out just a little amount of paint. Let me demo for you. And we're only going to start with one color. So, you get your colors picky.
No, that's your color.
Well, it doesn't matter. This will be a different shade of blue. So you only need a small amount. Ooh. I hope some of this isn't dried up. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that might be too much. That's a little chunky. I don't know. And you've got to, ooh, I don't know how this one's going to work. Some of my colors might be a little, oh, that'll probably work fine. Actually, that's way too much paint that I'm putting on this right now. You only need a small, thin layer. Now, over to the side, we have what I call scrap wipe-off paper, which in itself will become art at the end of all of this. So you just want
I put too much on, too.
you just want enough so it's sort of translucent. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
I haven't done this yet today, so I haven't done it for a long time. So it's not like I practiced.
These are 5x7 jelly plates. They come in different sizes, and I've got all the sizes, and I have a class set almost, well, 8 of these this size. So I just took some ordinary white cardstock, just the cheapo stuff you buy wherever, and I cut the 8.5 by 11 sheets down in half. So these are a little bigger than 5x7. The reason I cut them a little bigger than 5x7 is so that they have a board around them. It makes it easier for picking them up. So all we're going to do right now is just put it down. And the reason I've given us 2 brayers is, one, you can use your hand and just smooth it along, or you can use a dry brayer. I usually get my brayers mixed up, so I end up with paint on both sides. But for now, we'll try to keep it straight. And you just smooth it on, and you pull your print. Now, this print is not going to be very exciting because all I've got is a basic background right now in colors. But you will notice that it shows the lines of the brayer. It shows anything that may have been on the jelly plate, that kind of thing. How's yours? Well, very nice. And it's got sort of a mottled effect. Now, we'll put this just to the side. And usually if you had more paint, well, you can try it on yours, you can do a ghost print. Ghost print just picks up the extra paint off the jelly plate. Now, sometimes you'll get something, sometimes you won't get much. Like, I didn't get much. But that's okay. I'm not throwing that away. You never throw anything away when you're doing jelly plate printing because, as you'll see, they will change. Yeah, so, and that's also how you clean off a jelly plate as well. You don't have to do anything special with these. If it gets really gunky and you don't want colors to mix, you can use a baby wipe on it and cleans it up. No problem. Any questions at this point? No, good. Okay, so now you can try using 2 colors. This makes it a little bit more interesting. So you put a little dab of one color on. Oops, that may be a little bit too much of a dab. And you get sort of an ombre kind of look, and take some of that off. I think I may have to put a little bit more of that other color because I got too carried away with the orange.
Does it matter if I use my yellow one?
No. The whole idea here is to get sort of a... You can't really control this stuff. Yeah, I got too much orange on mine. I want it. And that's the fun part about this. You kind of experiment as you go along. And you don't want to like mix it too much so that, well, you just have to play.
Okay.
I'm going to use, you can use whatever paper you want to use for it. I'm going to use the one that I used to clean off because there's nothing on it. So there I got another bit of an effect. Now you're going to say, well, big deal. Boring. Yes, they are at this point. Because we're going to do it. Oh, yours came out kind of interesting. Oh, you pig. Now, you can do a shadow, a ghost, if you want. Or you can just leave paint on and add another layer of paint. Or, what the next thing we're going to do. Now, you see, I got a totally different look. I didn't add any more paint, but I got more of an ombre. You never know exactly what you're going to get. And these dry very quickly. I'm putting them up there on the side, but they'll be dry within a sip of wine. And while Walter's doing that... Oh, Laura's here. Hi, Laura. I'll let Walter do that, and I'll think what we're going to do next. Ooh. How come yours are so pretty? Mine look like dog turd. They'll get better. Okay, what these little thingies are texture plates. They're plastic and they've got different designs on them. And we're going to press them into the paint. So, pick whatever you like. Suppose you want that one. No,
I don't care. Take whatever one you want.
Well, I am taking one, but every time I reach for one, you grab.
Okay.
These will actually be used in my class next Sunday. Okay, so you do the same thing. You put down the paint, whatever color you want, or a combination of colors. And you can go beyond 2. You can go to 3. It's just that sometimes more than 3 colors, more chance of mud. And you can switch colors around. I want your yellow. And you don't need expensive paints either for this. What?
It farted.
It made a funny noise. I'm such a pubescent boy. You don't really, when you do this with a brayer, you kind of lift your brayer as you do it. You don't really like rub back and forth. Hard to describe what I'm talking about, but that's what you do. And then when you get the color, oh, I'll wait to, oh, now he's getting real fancy. He's making little swirlies in the whole bit. I'll bet you're playing dog poop like that too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
There.
Okay, good for you. Now you take your plate and you just press it into it, lift it back up. Now, you're going to have paint left over on this, so you can take one of your shadow prints, so you don't waste your paint, and you can use it like a stamp and just press it in. It also helps to clean it off a little bit. And again, I didn't get a lot, but I got some. So it's always changing. And then we're going to lift another print.
Look at that.
I want to use the F word right now. Mine's going to be nicer. Look, watch. Wow. You're a pig. That's not bad. Okay. Whose is nicer? Shut up.
Actually, I think I took 2 sheets here.
Yeah. And you can do a shadow as well.
Maybe not.
Ooh, that one's kind of cool.
I got 2 sheets. I can't tell if I got 2 sheets.
No, I think you only got one. Oh,
Okay.
isn't that pretty? Here, let me try something. Ooh, that's pretty. That's very pretty. That's so pretty. Okay, so you can keep doing this, or you can do a shape upon a shape. But we're going to move to a stencil. Just, oh, you've got leftover on that. Take one of your blank ones or something, or take a clean one or another one and press it into that. Because you've got leftover paint, so you can always do more with it. Deb says, love this. Never seen this technique before. It's really nice. Yeah, it's very addictive, very pretty and so effective. We'll have to try this for my cards.
I think it kind of dried already, but
yeah, but you got a little. You don't discard anything because we build. The whole idea that this is like, for those of you that do mixed media, you know what I'm talking about when you talk about layers. That's what we're doing. Okay. Drinky poo. Before we go on to the next thing, what do you want to talk about now? Oh. Okay, you see me looking over here. I took our notes that I usually have in front of the bar and I blew them up. And they're sitting down on, like, where this thing is sitting right now is on a bookshelf. And so I've got what we wanted to talk about today on, like, cue cards. Great big huge sheets of paper sitting here that I printed off on the printer so we could see it. Okay, so that takes us down to what's newsworthy.
It's sex.
Sex ed. Yeah. I think we mentioned last week about the sex ed curriculum that our new government in Ontario is trying to put backwards in time to the 1998 curriculum, not the 2015 one. And the Ontario government's being taken to court about this. And the teachers have already put up, rightly so, a strong opposition and fight to it. And they're basically saying, we're going to teach the curriculum that's of this century, not last century. And the reason that's important in our country especially is the lawsuit that's going against the government right now for this is a human rights case, because the old curriculum did not include discussion about transgendered people or about the LGBTQ community or all that kind of stuff. And that means then that they are excluding a part of the population, and that goes against our human rights code. So rightly so, all for it. The teachers get out there and bash them. This idiot that we have right now as a premier, he thinks he's stronger than the teachers and the teachers' unions. He's going to have a rude awakening, because the strongest unions in Ontario include the teacher unions, the OSSTF and the EFTO, or ETFO. Get it right. That's the elementary and the secondary. And yeah, he's in for a fight, so this is looking good. But we do have buck of beer.
Yeah, right.
Walter got some. Didn't you get some?
Yeah, I got some, but it was okay. But it was...
was that the Loon beer?
It was the Loon beer. But it was... there's a couple of breweries in Ontario that aren't well known, and they're basically using it as a promotion for their beer. So, but they've already said, like, they can't really afford to produce it for $1. So... they've got it as a promotion right now, and then in a few weeks it'll probably disappear. So
yeah, but that loon beer. And if you don't know, if you're not from Canada, one of our national birds is the loon.
And our dollar coin, everybody calls the loon.
Loony, because it's got a loon on it. And of course, other people might think when we say loon means crazy person, a Looney Tunes, a loon, and that. Well, loon beer, yeah, really. Made from your fresh loons. But anyways, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because, and I hope the teachers do not, well, I know the teachers won't back down, and they shouldn't. I mean, really. Well, I saw someone posted a sign on Facebook that said, buck of beer, beer for $1, legalized weed, and no sex ed. What could possibly go wrong? I thought that was pretty good. So, moving on. Okay, what shall we do now? Well, let's knock it up a notch. So, stencils. You can use these with stencils. I pulled out a few from my massive hundreds of stencils, which I do have a video on one of my vlogs in my segment on what's in my drawers. I did a whole thing on all the bloody stencils I've got. These are just a few. So, pick whatever you want. Pick two. Well, you have more than two.
Pick two.
Oh, you're going to pick that one?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Is there two there? No.
No, it's only one.
Yeah.
I think. Or no, I guess there was two.
No, there's two there. Oh, I like that one.
Oh, fine.
And,
I want that one. I want that one. Oh, I want that one too. I only have a drawer full of them. I only have like about 300 stencils. Can you have too many stencils? Yeah, you can. But I have them anyway.
I'll delete that one.
Okay, so we're just going to use one to start with. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. What we have been doing is we've been putting paint down first. So let's do that again. And just for the sake of starting out with this, just put down one color this time. Well, you can put down two if you want. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Ooh, that come out of me. I'm probably blocking your view. Put all these paints in front and you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. New venue here. Now these are a little smaller than the jelly plates, so you can do one of two things. You can use two at a time, or put it in the middle, or put it off to the side, whatever. I'm going to put mine in the middle just for the sake of demo purposes. Now wait till Walter catches up. Drinky time. What are people saying? Kathy says, love watching you two craft together. And Alyssa, isn't it great? Could be. Until I start squirting paint all over them. Oh, you just get very artistic, don't you? I go, like, put some paint on it, and he's going, like, look at this. Huh. Fine. He's just trying to show me up. Let's see, how do you put this in the nicest way, dick? Yeah, whatever. Okay.
So now what do I do?
Put it on a stencil.
Okay.
Any which way you wish.
Here, just put it down.
Yeah, just put it down. Whatever, and do whatever you want with it. Of course, you'd go on and out. And then you're going to put your paper on top, but this time, use your fingers to smooth into the holes because you want to try and get that pattern to come up. So this is where the brayer isn't quite as good because your fingers get into the depressions.
Let your fingers do the walking.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, let me pull it up. There's what I got on that one. And then you can pull your stencil off and you can do a ghost print. And I'm going to do a ghost print on top of this thing that's kind of boring.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Let me see. Suckhole. And you can take a ghost on one of the other ones you've done, like if you got a plain one, or you can do it on a new piece, I don't care. No, that didn't work very well. Okay, I didn't have enough paint left, so that really didn't change that, but that's okay. Then what you can do, put a little bit more paint. Ooh, that's cute. How pretty. Why don't you teach my class next week?
Good.
Okay, I'm going to use your method. Oh, this wasn't what I was wanted to do, but it's okay, I'll do this anyways. Actually, I'm going to use 2 stencils this time. And I'm going to use this one again because this one I have nothing really on it. We'll see what happens. You make this up as you go along, people. That's why they're fun.
I had leftover stuff on my brayer.
Oh, yeah. So, that's neat. But you need more texture. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
You need more texture. That's what I'm telling you. This is where you just start to play around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You just see what you get. I don't like that. Okay, I'm going to put these up. I'm going to try this one on top of that. Of course, you don't always have to go put the whole sheet on either. You can just do a partial. I'll get something here. Yeah. So that one got a little piece down there. One got a little piece there. So you see you're just building up layers. His will look better. Ooh, I'm getting it all over me. Oh, and the other thing you can do too is, if you've still got paint on the stencils, you can lay them back down on the...
Do I put stuff down first, do I put the...
Doesn't matter. Do whatever you want to do. Just go ahead with what you're going to do. Because I was going to show another method here in a second that you can do with the stencils. But I didn't get much off of that. But it cleans off the stencils. I don't clean my stencils. I just let them dry. I suppose you could clean them if you really want to care, but I've got better things to do with my time. Okay, getting something there, but not much. Oh, still a little paint on here. Let me take this one and see if I can clean that off. Kind of interesting. Show and tell, show and tell. So what are people saying while you're doing that? Mel says this is a great way to make live show. You should do this more often. I was afraid you were going to say that, Mel. See, I was making the excuse we didn't have the technology for this, but then I thought about this today and yesterday I set this up, how to do this, and I thought, well, okay, you get to see us, you get to see what we're doing down here. So, yeah. So now that I know this could work this way, then, yeah, we'll do some more. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, how pretty. You two could be entertainers on a craft cruise. If someone would hire us, we'd go. If they give us a freebie, no problem. You got any connections, Chuck? Mel says, next time you could do live about art journaling, as you will have lots of lovely papers to use for it. Very true, Mel. Mel, you're what I call an enabler. Okay. So are you done playing with that part of it yet, or are you still just having a good time here?
Okay.
What you get?
I did want to use one of my other prints.
Well, that's kind of abstract-y. All right, so another technique that we can do that is you put your stencil down first, then you squirt a little paint on that, brayer it in. So basically what's happening is your stencil's becoming what they call a mask.
I still have pile of paint on my brayer.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the fun of this. I won't pull mine until we'll pull them together. Don't go there. Filthy boy.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Big reveal. Shoot, mine's stuck. I like mine better.
Fine.
I think mine's better. Okay. And there's probably still a little bit left on here, so you can probably... Oh, that's kind of pretty too. You see that? Deb said, oh no, oh, B&D are here. Hi, B&D. Catherine says use white. I'm coming to that, Catherine. B&D says, Debbie says, I'm finding this very therapeutic. I have to play with mine soon, thanks. Is it a certain paint you use? Nope, it is not. Catherine says use white with the dark you'll already have. Okay, good idea, Catherine, because they're probably getting a little dark, and I tend to get a little dark. But to go back and answer Deb's question about what kind of paint we're using, cheap stuff. This is paint from Michaels. It's acrylic. Okay, it's acrylic paint. You can do jelly plate printing with ink pads. Oxide inks by Tim Holtz work really nice with these as well. I don't know, maybe I'll get some of mine out and we'll give those a try in a few minutes too, so you can see what I'm talking about. But the only problem with using ink pads though is you want to make sure, if you're going to use them like in a mixed media project where you're going to put wet medium over top of them, like matte medium or something like that.
Oh, I screwed up.
They will reactivate, which is screw up. What?
My dry stuff. Put my dry one in the paint.
It doesn't matter. I do that all the time. That's what I said. You probably end up doing that. It just means you get some on the back. Big deal. But what I was saying is, if it's a medium that is not water permanent, when it dries, then it'll reactivate if you put a wet medium on it. Acrylic paints, though, dry permanent. But you can use the cheapest of cheap acrylic paints. No, that's kind of pretty.
I use my finger.
Yes, you can use your finger in it. I'm not up to the mark making tools yet, but that, jump ahead. Yeah, with it. Use your nose, use your tongue, whatever. Never mind. So yeah, the cheaper the paint, the better. You don't need expensive paints for it at all. So again, with the dollar store and get that craft paint that they have, it'll work as well too. Okay, so the next thing is we need to find some stencils that have more open holes in them, like bigger holes than these, because we're going to do a thing with these and those. So what else did I pull out here? I hope I pulled out something with big holes. Something like that would work.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Okay. There's one here though that's got. Yeah, that one would work. What else is here? Leaves. Oh, leaves might. No, that would work. Okay, I'll use that one. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to put down some paint. Whatever. I need some different. Oh. We've had a request for white, okay, on some of these. So, okay, where's the white? This is white. What's this one? Titanium? Titanium buff. Well, it's not quite white, but it's buff. It's close. Okay, once you get your color down, then you're going to put a stencil on top, but then you're going to take one of these texture plates, and you can get a different one if you want, or use the same one. Something with small print on them is probably good.
Texture plate.
Yeah. So, but put down a stencil first.
Stencil.
Yeah. And then find a texture plate that's got sort of a small pattern to it, relatively speaking. Oh, Mitzi's here. Glad you will show how to use oxides on this. Okay, so we have a request to show oxides, so I will show those in a bit. Okay, I'm gonna have to, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lay it down on top of the stencil and you're going to press it in to the stencil. The idea is you're getting a pattern within a pattern. At least that's the theory. Then you pull up the two, and then I'm going to use one that I've got already a dark background on for mine because I used white. Ooh, things are sticking everywhere. This one might be good. Okay. It's subtle, but it is there. Maybe
Yeah,
not
so
the
these
best
colors will match, but
You don't worry about colors matching.
okay.
Take a ghost here. We got a little bit on there, but not much. So if your stencil has really big openings in it, and you've got another thing, you can do this with a rubber stamp as well. That turned out okay. But it's more subtle. It depends on how big the openings are in the stencil and how small the things are that you're putting on top with that as well. Okay. So, there is another technique, and this one we have to let dry for a little bit, not very long, but a little bit. And I think it comes to the point where you need to clean off the jelly plate with a baby wipe, because they do get a little crusty after a while. Although that in itself is kind of a neat effect.
Ooh, look at that.
Well, that turned out nice. Now, the thing is, we're making all of these so you get a stash of them. But then you can cut them up, which we're going to do to make cards. But you can also run them through your die cutting machine, your Cricut, whatever, your Silhouette. And you can make really interesting like die cuts out of them for embellishments, for scrapbooking pages, for cards, for mixed media, whatever. So don't think these are the finished product. They are not. And they transform when you use them in other ways. And I'm all covered in paint. You probably should wipe some of this down. Okay, cleanup time. So what's pissing you off this week, Walter?
Garage door openers that aren't all made the same.
Oh. And why do you say that?
Yeah. The designs changed on them, even though same manufacturer. And so I have to redo everything to get the stupid garage door opener.
Well, of course, our garage door opener is what, 20-some years old?
Yeah, same manufacturer, but they've gotten cheaper, of course, and their build.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well.
You know, like obviously they're not as good quality as the old stuff.
There's a garbage can down here. Well, I don't know.
So that's always the case with anything. Well, I had to. Our old garage door opener was working fine, but the problem was that the sensor that keeps the door from shutting on children and stuff like that wasn't working properly, so it kept the door from going all the way down. So, of course, because the garage door opener is 20 years old, you can't get the parts for that one anymore. So, last winter was giving us like lots of problems. So, we bought a new one, but then I've been procrastinating putting it up till now.
Yeah, well, that's a bitch.
But now it just bothers me that all these things change all the time. Why can't you just, I thought maybe I could just slap a new one in, and I can't do that.
I guess not. Well, Andy says, my sister wants to know what type of wine you're drinking. Cheap,
White.
came out of a box. White, yeah.
Canadian wine.
Yeah. No, this was this, oh, this was,
it's that color?
Yeah, it's, I think it's a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
But it's a cheap Chardonnay. Comes in a box.
Well, cheap for us is like $42 for 4 liters.
For a box, for 4 liters, yeah. And Laura says, I was jelly printing with my inch round. I used oxides and they look like planets. Yep. Oh, yeah, and you can get jelly plates in round size, too. I've got those, and you can get little miniature ones, too. And you can use them like stamps, like rubber stamps. But there's all kinds of things. And if you've never seen the jelly plates in action, go to the YouTube channel that's called Jelly Arts. G-E-L-I-A-R-T-S. You'll find all kinds of things. And I'll tell you, you will be hooked. Price-wise, they're not cheap. And where do you get them? You can get them online from Jelly Arts, but it's an American company, so you're going to pay for shipping. You're going to pay exchange, depending on what your currency is.
If you live in Canada. If you live in the United States, it might be easier.
Yeah, if you're in the States, they're cheaper. Like, you probably get free shipping from Jelly Arts if you're in the States, in the continental USA, as they're always telling people. I feel sorry for San Juan or for Puerto Rico and Hawaii. They run this size, 5x7. These run about $30. And you can get them as big as, I think the biggest one I have is a 12x15. And that one I think cost me about $50 or something. I don't know, it might have been more than that at the time, Canadian. So they're available. All right. Let us reorganize here a little bit. Things are getting a little hairy. That's mine. That's mine. The bad ones are yours.
No, that's yours. The ugly ones are yours.
Don't bite me. Want to try body painting with these? Ooh, I'm getting stuck to everything. Okay, and people are saying, lay a feather on top. Oh, you saw that video, didn't you? Yes, you can. I'm not sure where my feathers are.
What? Lay a feather on top?
Yeah, you can. I was going to try that at one point in time, but I don't know
where to keep things sticking apart?
No. It makes a real neat effect.
I was going to shove my hand on it, but I covered my hand.
Well, you can do that too. Shove your face on it for all I care. And Mel says you can also make your own jelly plates. Lots of instruction on YouTube. Yes, you can. However, I know people who have tried that. No, that's yours. And they have mixed results with that. Plus, they will start to go funny on you after a while. Whereas these ones stay this way forever. The only thing is, don't use something sharp on these. At the art gallery, I talked them into buying a whole bunch of these and doing stuff with them. And they were doing it with kids. And I told them, whatever you do, don't let the kids use sharp objects to carve into them. What did the kids do? They took the end of a ballpoint pen and went into it. And of course, now every time you pull a print from one of those jelly plates, because it's got those marks in it and they don't come out, that's what you're going to get on your jelly plate. So, stupid little... Anyways. Okay. This next one is a bit of an experiment. What we have to do is lay down a pattern on here, but not pull a print. We're going to let it dry. Then we're going to take white, put that on top, and then pull the print. And the thing is, what happens is the white paint just starts to dissolve and loosen the paint that's dry underneath it, and you get a really neat effect when it happens, if it works. It's sometimes a hit or a miss. So this is an experiment. So what we need to do is lay down... I'm going to pick some new colors. Ooh, this looks like fun. Neon. Well, let's go for neon. And we'll see what happens here.
What's green and blue make?
Green and blue? Green and blue makes purple.
Oh, yeah, no.
Doesn't it?
No, it makes sort of a greeny blue color.
I don't know. Get out the color wheel. Ooh, there's junk on that. Ugh, it's stuck to me. That's why I wear this apron. Oh, crap. I'm getting covered in paint. Move things out of the way here so people can see. Ooh, this is going to be very neon-y. Now, the thing about this is you don't want the paint to go too thin, but you don't want it too thick. And it's, again, it's kind of a hit and miss. So, I'm going to use... I'm going to get real fancy, and I'm going to put stencils in different arrays. Now, you only want to lightly take off some paint with this. So, actually, I probably should have done it with copy paper. Yeah, copy paper would be better because it doesn't absorb as much as cardstock. Because you don't want to take everything off. You just, oops, you're just kind of blotting. There's what I got off that. And then you remove your stencils. Now, maybe this would be a good time to get out the mark making tools, which are very sophisticated, very expensive mark making tools. We have very expensive tools here. We have toilet paper rolls. We have plastic cups, and we have corks. You can use anything to make marks. So you you're just creating a very abstract little pattern. I only have cups, of course, and I don't think there's anything else in here. Champagne cocaine.
Okay.
Things are piling up. Okay, so now we have to let this dry. Yours is pretty thick.
No. I know that.
Yeah, right.
I've been told.
Yeah. So, yeah, whatever. So we need to let this dry actually on the jelly plate, and that can take up to 5 minutes. However, you can, if you're careful, use a heat gun. But just keep the heat moving on it. Don't keep it in one spot too long. Like I said, this may or may not work. I like my petter better than your petter.
Fine.
Yours will probably still turn out better than mine. That's always how it works. Here, I'll give you this in just a second here. Just keep it wafting over it. So, Catherine says, should have plucked some leaves from shrubs or trees. They work nicely too. Yeah, you can use anything. That's why I say, if you go to the Jelly Art YouTube channel, you'll be amazed at the things that they do with them. And actually, there was, I don't know, I must have saw it on YouTube, but there was a whole thing about, no, don't do that anymore. You just concentrate on yours. Don't be playing with mine. They had a history of how these came to be as well, and how the company came out. It was two ladies got playing around with this, with homemade ones or something, and they sort of invented these, and it's been really good. Hey, what should we say now? What, are you dry? We want to make sure these are.
Well, yours still looks wet.
Maybe one spot.
The red thing in the middle.
Yeah. But you don't want to hang it onto it too long, because I don't know. This may or may not work. It's hit and miss. So anyways, while this is drying, what else are we talking about? So, anything else eating you this week?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, you're easily amused.
Oh yeah, with my busted windshield.
Oh yeah, yesterday. Tell them the story.
Well, we're driving down a road that has, it's a bit of a dirt road. And a stone kicked up from the car passing by and hit the corner of my windshield. And then I noticed that there was a small crack on the edge. And then I was driving a little further, and all of a sudden it started to crack across the front. So now I got a cracked windshield.
Which isn't good.
Which is the second time that's happened in the last, a couple of years. First time was my fault, though.
Okay. Those are words you don't hear out of his mouth often. My fault. See,
it was playing around with the, what do you call it, the pressure washer, and the nozzle got clogged, and I was trying to loosen it.
Oh.
And then I was lucky I didn't get it, and what happened was the top of the nozzle finally loosened and shot really high up in the air, and I couldn't find it. And then about half a minute later, it landed right dead center on my windshield and put a big crack in it. If it hit me in the head, I would have been dead. So
yeah. Mel says, Kathy says, did I mishouse your mother? She's fine. She got moved to the long-term care part of the hospital, not a nursing home yet. But it's almost like being in a nursing home, so it's a good training ground from her. And she's doing okay. I mean, we're going into the 9th week now, but things are what they are, so okay. And thanks for asking. And Mel says you could also use lace and old crochet tablecloths. Both work well with jelly printing, like almost everything. Yeah, you can use anything you want. Small babies are great too. Squashed under. No, never mind. Okay, so now that we have this and we've let this dry, we're going to take some white. That's titanium buff. Where's white? I had some white in here, I thought.
I don't see any white in there.
I thought I had a tube of white. Keep the people entertained. I got to go in my box. Ah, there's white.
There's white.
Not a lot of it. So, you put on top of this a thin coat.
Very thin.
Yeah. You want just a thin coat of this.
A thin chocolate wafer.
And then you immediately put down your card. It's not like I have a lack of paint around here. There's another box over there, but. And you want to brayer it in or smooth in with your hands, whatever you want to use. Well. Use a new one.
Okay.
And the idea is that this paint that you put down will soften the other paint, and you should get this print that lifts the whole other one you did up off it, I'm hoping. And it did. And there's mine.
Oh, mine didn't work.
What? Yours is too thick.
Maybe.
Yeah, yours didn't work. Yeah, this might have been over. I don't know. It's a hit and miss.
Yeah. Well.
So take one of your Here, take one of these. See if we can clean some of this up. Ooh, that's kind of cool. What you can do now, okay, if you take another color and spread over top of that and then just take a print, it'll clean it up a little bit, but you might get some interesting effects with that too. Oh, Deb's got to go. Okay, Deb. We'll see you next week. Squeeze it, don't tease it. Just clean up this stuff here. Oops. Ew, get yellow. See what you get this time.
Oh, there's still stuff stuck on there that won't come off.
Just clean that up. We're running out of paper. I may have to cut us some more because we're going to try oxides next. Figures I don't have anything open.
Well, I got more of it off.
Yeah, well, that's kind of interesting too in itself. It's a hit and miss with that technique. Sometimes you can do interesting transfers using that too. Okay, bear with me, people. I'm just getting some more paper out here.
Is that? Oh, that's just. We're just using plain paper.
No, we're using cardstock.
Oh, okay.
You can use just copy paper.
No, I thought we were using UPO or something.
No, we're not using UPO. You could use UPO, but UPO's a little expensive. of space. Okay, here's some more card. Okay, so you'll need a baby wipe and clean that off because we're going to move to a different.
Yeah, medium. I did.
Oh, did you? All right, we're going to go for the oxides because we've had a request for the oxides. Okay, so oxide inks are Tim Holtz's latest stuff. They're great inks, but they too react to water. So they have a little different property when you use them on something like a jelly plate because they will bead up. Also, if you're going to use them as backgrounds for things, as I said, if you don't put a fixative on them, they will run because they'll be reactivated with water. So let's see, you pick a cup, but you do basically the same method. You can go direct from the pad. And you use your brayer on these as well. Now, the brayer should be relatively dry. The thing with these are, you're not going to see them the same as the paints.
Okay, I think I just should. I got.
No, it doesn't contaminate them.
Okay.
Idiot. Well, no. What you do?
Oh, okay. I'll be more careful.
$9 a pop. Yeah, really. Okay. So you see the effect you get with those. And you do all the same methods with these as you do with the others. How's yours turn out? Well, you didn't spread it with your brayer. Well, that's what you were going with.
What?
Well, I don't know. Well, you could do it that way. I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I wasn't watching you. I was just doing my thing.
Yeah. Let me try dark color here. And try stencil. Put this down.
Like these names.
What?
They don't have Warehouse Red.
No, they don't. It's next year's color. So I got that on top. And let's take one of these that we've used before. And it cleaned off a little bit. Got a little bit more color onto that. So basically with oxide inks, you use them just the same way as you use with the acrylics. The only difference is they will reactivate with water. Now, you can get an interesting effect, though, speaking of water, because of oxide inks reacting with water. If you put some color down, and you can brayer it or don't brayer it, it depends on what effect you want. I'm just going to give it a light one. But if I take my water bottle, where's my water bottle? And just hit it with a little bit of a spray. Then you'll get a different effect. This is not an effect you can get with acrylic paints. This is because of the special properties of oxide inks. So you see the mottled effect with the water? Kind of cool. See? Yeah, so see you get the thing, which is kind of neat. But, as I said, problem is, these are water reactive. Now, you can still make that work in your favor. If I take this is one, it's all done in oxide inks. If I spritz a little water on it, let stay, and then I take a paper towel and I blot. Well, that didn't come up too well, but it's more subtle. Depends how much water you put on it and how long you let it sit. Or another thing you can do, which is kind of cool, is you can take it, take a stencil, take a different size, different shape stencil. Here's one with leaves or something on it. Take a baby wipe, not water, take a wet baby wipe. And you just rub through the stencil carefully. Now this one came out a little subtle, and I picked up the color that was already on that stencil as well, but you get a bit of a shadow effect in there too. So you can remove it. This technique works really well on like watercolor paper because it's a little thicker, so you can rub it a little bit more so you don't get any pilling. But oxide inks work really nice with it as well. So what are people saying? Nice, very nice, like that idea. Debbie's off to bed now. Okay, have a good night. And Mel says some people are using cheap photo paper, reverse side, with inks instead of Yupo paper, much cheaper. Yes, you can do that but Yupo paper is a plastic and it repels as well, so you can wipe things off. Yupo is a very special product. It's kind of cool to work with it, but it has different properties from regular paper, and so all these techniques that I've been showing you here that we've been using will work totally different on Yupo. One thing is, though, if you don't like it, what's on Yupo, you can wipe it off. All you do is give it a little spritz of water, and it doesn't matter what you've used, with the exception of alcohol inks, it'll just come right off. You can use alcohol inks on these as well, but they will stain your jelly plate. Now that won't harm the jelly plate, and it doesn't mean that color will come back off later when you use it with acrylic paint again, but it will stain it. And some people get a little uptight about that. Okay. You're playing another one. I think now what we need to do is turn these into beautiful, some of them into beautiful cards. So I'm just going to clean off my jelly plate. And if you have stubborn stuff on the jelly plate, if you use a little bit of hand sanitizer, because it has alcohol in it, it will clean them up as well, and it won't hurt the jelly plate. But 9 times out of 10, you don't need to do any more than what I just did. That's clean enough. Make some room here.
There.
Well, that's not bad. Okay, you done playing with these?
Yeah, that's it. What do you do to wipe they clean off your stencils?
I don't clean them off.
Oh.
I just leave them as they are. It's a surprise every time you use them. Life's too short for cleaning stencils. Just make some room here so we can go to the next stage. Move those off. So, what have we been watching this week? Well, we started watching Shameless Season 8. If you don't know what Shameless is, it's exactly what the title says. It's shameless.
We're watching the American version.
Yeah, there is a British version.
British version.
As well. British version, though, is it still British version still going on?
I don't know if they are. I don't think they are, actually. I think British version came first.
Oh,
and the Americans
probably
copied it.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, Mel says, Joggles had an interesting video about using Marabou's Easy marble colors with gel pressed plate and had beautiful effects. Have you ever tried it? No, I haven't, and I haven't seen that video, but I do have their marbling stuff by that company. I bought it, and it's kind of cool the way it works. It works different from other marbling mediums I've tried before, but I haven't tried it on a jelly plate. But maybe I will have to at some point in time. Okay, so now we want to make our cards. So we need to select a couple of these that we think might make interesting background on a card. So pick whatever grabs you. Well, I think that one's yours. No, that was, I cleaned up your plate on that one on mine.
Yeah, so that was
And we need some card blanks. I always have card blanks already made up. So we have bases, background.
How many of these pictures do you want?
As many as you want. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to make maybe 3 or 4 cards out of these. So, let me do a quick measurement here because I forgot how big these are. These should be 4 and, yeah, they're 4 inches by 5 1/4. So, you want to cut down an area on one of these that measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So now sometimes you got to cut off the edges around here to get an area you want. So I'm just sort of cutting off the white border because I don't want the white border. And that's a 3 3/4. That's a see. There's 4. There's the 3/4 mark.
Okay.
Because these are in 1/4 inch. These blocks. So it's 3 3/4 that way, and 5 inches this way. Which I may already work on that. Keep the little piece. And then this is going to be a background. And so you're getting a black border. So you center it. So we're using tape runners. You could use wet glue, whatever. The only thing with wet glue is sometimes it makes them buckle a little bit. But if you put them under some heavy books overnight, usually flattens them out. And then you take a white card base. And more sticky. I put a fair amount of sticky on. You don't want it to come back up. And center it. And you have a card. Just like that. Now you could embellish this card. You could use some die cuts that you've cut out of these your jelly prints. Other ones, pop them up a little bit with pop dots, whatever. You could stamp, rubber stamp on it, whatever. So there you go. Try to make a card.
What was?
So we'll get rid of your white borders first. So you've got an area to cut with. You're welcome, Debbie.
Oops.
Yes, they are easy to do. They're fun to make. And out of all of this, you can make quite a few cards. And if you leave them blank on the inside, you have cards for all occasions. So that's what I do. I have boxes of them. In fact, while Walter's cutting his up, I'll just show you some other possibilities as well.
You said 3 3/4, right?
3 3/4 by 5. Find some other ones here that I've made in the past, once I gave them all away. So here's another idea. I used a jelly plate print in the background of this, and on the foreground of it, I used a cutout from a magazine. Here's one where I added some embellished pieces in a collage on top. Here's one with some die cuts on top of the jelly print. I'm looking for one here that I did not too long ago with a class, and maybe I don't have any of those left. I guess I don't. But what you can do is you can take these prints that you've made and cut them into little squares and use a variety of them and lay them out on the front as a mosaic, and that's very effective as well. And the thing is, if you want to get really fancy so that they're not always one of a kind, like let's say you want to make card sets, and I do this all the time to give to people, and you've got some nice prints that you've made, but you know, they're a one-off. As soon as you cut this up, like I did with this, that's it. Well, what you can do is scan them. Put them into your printer, scan them, put them in your computer, pull them up in your favorite graphics program, and print them out. And you can print them out as many times as you want, cut them up, and make multiple cards of the same print, because that's what I do with my mixed media pages, actually, for my art journal. I scan them, and then I can always use them over and over again. And yeah, why not? Do your work. Oh, that's pretty. I think mine's nicer. That's pretty. But yeah, you have a lot of fun with these. And you can use them as backgrounds on your art journal pages. You can use them if you want another effect. Here, I'll just show you. Maybe you're not really into this nice square look. Okay, then have a little fun. Rip them up, stick them on, collage effect. Don't like the white around the edges? No problem. Take an ink pad, any kind, grunge them up. Where's all the... Okay, never mind.
What?
Nothing, I had one for you, I had one for me. Oops. That piece.
You didn't see one for me.
Well, I had... Well, I don't know, it was somewhere. Maybe it's buried in here. There you go. One of a kind card. All made from the jelly prints. The whole bit. Just tear it. Add a little ink to the edges if you don't want the stark white edges. Away you go. I could improve upon this let me see. I just happen to have some jelly prints that I had done some other time. I made some butterflies. So I will just take butterfly and I'll take a little pop dot square. Actually, it's a square. I put these some time ago through my die cutting machine. I like butterflies. There you go. You could add a sentiment to this if you wished, whatever to it. And you see how quick that was? So you spend an hour or two making a whole bunch of these jelly prints, and then you've always got material to work with for a variety of other things. So I think they're really worth the investment in buying the jelly plates. You don't need all of them. You know, just the 5x7 alone. You invest $28, I think Canadian is what they cost, about that. And that will get you through any situation. But people, when they get these, are wowed by them, guaranteed. So how'd yours turn out?
I wasn't centered very well on there.
Oh, geez. Off kilter on that one. Yep, endless possibilities, Mel.
Those are my two.
Okay. Mel says, show your red card, Walter.
My red card?
Which one are you talking about? That one? So, what else there to talk about? Well, talked about Shameless, and at the movies we saw something called The Fourth Man Out. It's a comedy. It's sort of got a gay basis to it, but it's not just that. It's on Netflix. It's really good. It's really quite funny. And so it's called Fourth Man Out. And on YouTube. Now, if you follow the show, I love this show. And unfortunately, they're going into their final season come this fall or spring, whatever. And it's the Big Bang Theory. And you know the actor who plays Amy Farrah Fowler, Sheldon's girlfriend, well, wife now, because they got married in the last season and the whole bit. Well, she has a YouTube channel. And she's a very, very intelligent lady. I mean, she's not just an actress. She actually has a doctorate degree in neuroscience, which is what she plays on The Big Bang Theory. So when she talks, she says that the stuff she's talking about is real, because she knows about it. But she is a very interesting person. She has a Jewish background, and she talks about how her faith... she doesn't let it interfere with her career, but at the same time, she can make the two work together. You know, like, for example, some people from the Jewish faith, they won't work on a Sabbath or on a religious holiday. In Hollywood, that's not so easy to do. Well, she talks about how she gets around that. But she also talks about being a mother. She talks about divorce, because she is divorced from her husband. She talks about all kinds of things, and it's all very, very intelligent. I'd like to meet her in person, because I think she's a really great person. And she is so unlike what happens to a lot of Hollywood actors. So check out her YouTube channel. Her name is, I can never say her name correctly. I think it's Mayim Bialik.
Or Bialik or something.
Anyways, tomorrow on my vlog, I'll have a link.
Mayim, first name. Last name is Bialik.
Yeah. I have a link to her YouTube channel on my vlog tomorrow. When it goes up, it'll be there. But do check it out, because I find her really interesting. She's a vegan, but she's not a pushy vegan. You know, like, and what I mean by that, you know, people who tend to be vegetarians and vegans, it's almost like a religious cult sometimes for them. She's not like that. She's just very reasonable and nice person, but also an intelligent person, which is kind of nice on YouTube, because you don't see a lot of them. I mean, besides Walter and I, who's left, really? Yeah, moving on. What's cooking? Walter did a roast beast last night in the sous vide, and it turned out okay. Mm-hmm. You said you didn't really think it was
Maybe, well, it could have been the cut of beef I used too. So
Well, it was tender.
Yeah, it was tender. I think I would cook it more well done next time, but that's just me.
Well, that was pretty well done.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyways, it turned out okay. And what's coming up? Well, tomorrow's Labor Day, and that means that the day after that, they're going back. All the kiddies and the teachers are going back to school here in our area. And, yeah. And I still get antsy on this weekend. Always this weekend, because it was the end of the summer, had to go back to school. I was always a little... It was the excitement of a new school year. It was the apprehension of a new school year. It was new kids, things I had to do, all kinds of stuff like that. And I would never sleep on Labor Day night very well. And usually would have the week before, it would be the start of going back to school dreams. Usually mine involved me being naked in front of a class and no one even acknowledging the fact that I was naked. I don't know what hurt me more, the fact that I was naked or the fact that no one acknowledged that I was naked. Well, whatever. I don't have those dreams much anymore. I still have sometimes those dreams. But I still get a little antsy on this particular weekend. And you'd think now that I'm starting my 6th year of retirement from it. Oh, well. So good luck, Laura, on Tuesday. Because Laura's a friend of mine who's a teacher as well. She and I work together. And anybody else out there that's a teacher, if you're going back on Tuesday, good luck with that. Have a good school year. If you're from Ontario, teach that sex ed. Don't let him do that to us. So just some parting comments here, because it's time for us to go. Kathy loves a Big Bang. Oh, I love Big Bang. Okay, never mind. Walter, did you enjoy doing jelly printing? Mel wants to know. Hard to believe you haven't done it much before.
It was okay. I mean, I don't know if I'd really...
He's not a crafter.
Do that on my own, but I mean, it's okay.
He's a stained glasser, which actually this should appeal to him because stained glass is abstract, so I don't know. Whatever. Problem is, his stuff always turns out better than mine. Catherine says, when do your sewing classes start? Well, when's your first class start? That's coming up, isn't it?
It's mid-September. September 18th, I think, is my first one.
My first one's September the 15th. That's with the embroidery stuff. And that one runs for about 6 weeks because I'm taking 2 parts. Well, it's more than 6 weeks. Runs almost up until about Christmas between the 2 parts. And yeah, so anyways, that is our time for today, people. So this was Art Attack from the Craft Room. Our first live video doing this kind of stuff. And oh, Nyrie's here. Hi, Stephen and Walter and everyone. Looking good. Hi, Nyrie. We're leaving, Nyrie. Bye-bye. Check the replay, Nyrie. We did jelly plate printing today. So anyways, if you guys have suggestions for other Art Attack kind of things, I mean, we're not going to do them...
Bother or Missed You XX or whatever. That's Nyrie.
Yeah, I know. I just read Nyrie.
No,
yeah,
down here,
yeah. Really enjoyed the Hope You Bother You Missed You. Good show. Great. We're not going to do this every week, okay? Because, you know, we got to keep it mixed up and that kind of thing. Thanks. This was great live. Good night, everyone. Time to go to bed. Almost one night over here. Yep. So, anyways, but we will do another one, a different type of thing in the near future. So, everybody, if you're celebrating Labor Day weekend, have a good long weekend. If it's not a long weekend for you, have a good week, whatever. And my vlog's on tomorrow, and we'll see you all next week. Say goodbye, Walter.
Bye, Walter. Goodbye.
Goodbye. How do I turn this off?
I don't know.
Where's my button? There it is.